in this third video in our series looking at the advanced settings inside of Dynamics 365 CRM customer engagement apps. We are focusing today on customer service. So when I spin up a Dynamics customer service install, these are the model-driven apps that I get sort of out of the box. So let's take a look at what we're going to do where. First of all is our Copilot Service Admin Center, formerly known as the Customer Service Admin Center. And this is where you're going to manage a ton of your settings that are service focused. So things like queues, routing, SLAs, workspace information, your knowledge base, calendars, holidays, all that good stuff. Then we have the Power Platform environment settings model-driven app. That's going to be, again, where your users, your security, your environment settings, your data settings, and all those environment level settings will be managed and set. And then finally, I also want to point out the resource scheduling model-driven app. Now, this one actually will appear if you have Dynamics for customer service, Dynamics for field service, and also project operations. So that's the same model-driven app used for resource scheduling across those three apps. So most of what we're going to take a look at is the Copilot Service Admin Center. So we're going to start there. There's three main sections, again, with a ton of information inside of each one of them. They are customer support, support experience, and operations. So these are different areas inside of that specific model-driven app. So let's take a look at each one a little bit more in depth. First up is the customer support area. So again, I'm inside of this model-driven app in the screenshot here on the right. And these are the different areas. So I like the overview area. It gives you kind of like a landing page of most of the things you're going to want to configure. But I wanted to make sure to point out what all of these things are so you have an idea of what it is and where you do things. First of all, user management. This is different than where you manage different user things like licensing and business units and security roles. That's over at the Power Platform environment settings. This inside of the Copilot Service Admin Center is where you're going to set skills, capacity, and roles for each individual user. So obviously these are really important things to configure. It's what a lot of the Copilot and AI features inside of this app kind of rely on in order to get it right. Then we have AI agents. That's the next thing. It's right here. And this is where you can see the agents that are currently connected. You can add new ones if you have the proper security roles and kind of manage what's going on in all of your AI agents. Then we have channels. These are your different omni-channel channels. You can configure things about chat, messaging, and voice directly in this area. Intent. This is a new preview area. So this is the customer intent agent, which is not generally available yet. But the fact that this is now popping up, this is a recent change inside of the Copilot Service Admin Center, is really interesting. So take a look at that if you want to preview it and see what that's going to look like in your sandbox and how it can work within the larger app. Then we have queues. Again, one of the basic foundational parts of Dynamics and customer service is your queues, and this is where you will configure your basic and your advanced queues. Very closely related to that, right underneath it and within the queue itself, is where you can configure routing. So there's a lot of automated record routing and creation rules that you can create. So the routing has a lot of different types now. There's basic routing, there's skill-based routing, there's unified routing, sentiment-based routing, which is in preview, and effort-based routing, which is also in preview. So the preview ones are all ones that are running on Gen AI. Then we have work streams. You can make configuration updates on your work streams depending on what channel your agents are working in. Then we have case settings, another cool agent coming at us here, also in preview, the case management agent. So you can configure and set that up here. We've got handling time, we've got subjects, we've got automated record creation and update rules that are going to be inside of your queues and all that great stuff. And the last area in this section is customer settings. This is where you can see block numbers, hold music, and all the different self-service options that are available for you to configure. The second section here inside this app is the support experience area. This also has workspaces. There's a little bit more that you can tailor on the workspaces side here. So this is your experience profiles, any templates, and notifications inside the workspace. Productivity is a really important spot for you to check out. These are where you can tailor the Copilot summaries and your Copilot questions and emails. So there's a lot of stuff that Microsoft thinks is a good way to get started with Copilot. This is Copilot in customer service, not Copilot for customer service, which is your Outlook plugin and your Teams plugin that moves all in the Microsoft 365 world. This is your Copilot inside of your customer service app. So anyway, Copilot summaries, you're probably going to want to tailor the columns that are used to generate those summaries. So put your custom columns in here, and then those summaries will make a lot more sense and resonate a little better with your agents that are using the app day to day. We've also got email templates, email signatures, scripts, and all of your real-time translation. I think we're up to more than 60 languages now that are supported there. Very cool thing that you can add, which then will work on other channels. Then we have knowledge, another super important spot for you to come in here and make sure that you are turning on and using the AI created knowledge, which is one of the coolest things that have been innovated here in the customer service app, I think, in a long time. Those knowledge articles take a lot of time to create, and I feel like it's a heavy list to ask an agent after they've closed a case to, oh, can you write up what you did to resolve this case? Then we'll create that as a knowledge article. Anyway, knowledge and AI together, it's magic. I love it. So make sure you're using that and testing it out and seeing how it works. It'll generate your knowledge articles in draft for free. Then we have record types. We've got your knowledge categories, your templates, and portal. So making sure that you're only exposing the types of knowledge articles that you want to your portal audience. And then the last area here is collaboration. This is the in-app Teams experience. It's the meeting integration with Teams experience inside of the app, and swarming. So all of those things are done here. And finally, in this app, we have the operations section. This is where you'll configure insights inside of the customer service app. We've got your calendar. I know this is like old school CRM stuff, but your calendar is absolutely essential to make sure you're powering your SLAs as expected. So inside your calendar, you're gonna set your operating hours with each day of the week, your customer service calendar, and your holiday calendar to make sure your timers stop when they're supposed to stop. Then we have service terms, super important area. This is where you're gonna define your SLAs, your SLA KPIs, your entitlements, and your entitlement templates. Service scheduling is where you're going to look for your resources, your facilities, and your equipment, and set any business closures. And finally, the miscellaneous area. It's got a lot of interesting things, and I feel like it's going to grow and change with time. If it doesn't fit somewhere, we'll just throw it in miscellaneous and see if it sticks or if we need a different spot. New and upcoming features. So that's a nice big umbrella. Just pop in here every now and again, quarterly or so, and just see if there's anything new in there you haven't seen before. We have the automated rule creation SLA migration tool, which you definitely need to use if you are testing something out in Sandbox and then you want to move it over to production, because those are no fun to recreate. Your timeline settings, and then if you have any IoT services that you're using, you can configure everything here for that. That was a lot. We spent a lot of time talking about it because there's a lot in there. It's important, and I want to make sure that you know where to configure all these things. And then our final slide, because we're not going to go terribly into depth with this, is your resource scheduling app areas. This app has just two areas. One is resource scheduling, which is where you can configure your resource requirements, bookings, resources, and manage your schedule board if you are using that. And then the other area is the settings area. This is where you're defining roles inside of resource scheduling and skills, organizational units, proficiency models, and requirement priorities and statuses. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff inside the realm of customer service, but the best place, the place you're going to spend most of your time is highly likely to be the Copilot Service Admin Center.